Hello, and welcome to another episode of my Unpopular Opinions. Here, I talk about different kinds of things and share my opinions that are based on my experience, sometimes psychology, sometimes observing people, and just my delusion as well. And unpopular things are not always bad, and not everything that is popular is good, and not everything is good is popular. That's what I was trying to say here. And today I want to talk about relationships, interpersonal relationships, romantic relationships, any kind of relationships between human beings. So I guess this is a very interesting topic. It is very interesting for me, and since I'm making this here just for myself, first of all, then this is going to be what I'm going to talk about. So relationships. Relationships are complicated. They're fucking complicated, even if it's friendship, even if it's any kind of interaction between two humans. And I would say that I have been struggling to define relationships for myself recently. I have been struggling to define what would be a romantic relationship for me, what even a friendship is. Because so many things have happened, so many humans have passed through my life, and I've had so many different interpersonal relationships that at this point, I mean, it's kind of relatively easy to call someone your friend, but I like digging deeper. I think that's why some people don't want to be my friends, and I totally understand that. But like, what is friendship? What is passion? What is romance? What is commitment? What is marriage? What are these things? Because I guess we all tend to think that we have a certain understanding of what friendship is for us, and then we just either become friends with someone or not based on our idea of who a friend is for us. And same with relationships, so, which are romantic. And I think that very often we oversimplify what we are looking for and what we want to have, because it is fucking complicated and complex. So, for example, with friendships, I really, really struggle to define who a good friend is. Or maybe a good friend is easier than just a friend because, well, it's not too difficult to meet somebody and become acquainted with them. But not everybody you can hang out with actually is someone who's gonna be there during the hard times, or sometimes they can be with you during the hard times, but they cannot handle your success. So I guess probably the good friend is somebody who can be there for you when you suck and when you succeed, both. And you can hang out and you can talk and all these kinds of things. And then there is this other part of friendship that comes in here. Um, like helping friends. For example, there are situations where they need something like one time, like they're moving somewhere, like something that happens like just like once in a while or once in a lifetime for some people. And yeah, and it's also, kind of fun for you as well to be a part of this experience, so it's nice. Yeah, you would like to help, but I realized that I kind of struggle with the boundaries of what to help with and what to not help with. I know that without context, it doesn't make much sense, but it does to me because I have the context in my head. uh, because we all have chores, for example, right? We all have to take care of the places where we live. We all kind of have to do groceries and clean and fix things around the house and all of that. Um, And not all of us enjoy doing that, but we kind of have to, or we have to make agreements with the other people if they are willing to help us, or like if we are living with some people, like how do we organize that? Because I know some people probably, I know that probably some people enjoy doing that, and they would love to help you, and they would love to take over some chores. Most people don't like it, and also different people have different standards of how things should be done. And I noticed that it gets difficult for me to be helping with some things that I already do for myself. And it feels like if my friend kind of is lazy or doesn't want to do something that I already do for myself, and I might not be enjoying it as well, but I have to do it. So they probably also have to do it. Like, let's say, I don't know, like taking out paper trash. Let's say this, right? So I might not be enjoying it. And actually, I organized my life that I don't have to do that, but that's also another story. It's not that I don't recycle. I do. It's just I have agreements with other people who do that, and I do something else that they do not do. So let's just use this as an example. And I want to be there for my friend, but I don't want to do their chores, right? And then it's like sometimes for some people, especially like if it's just a situation when you're just talking about some random people, it's very clear and easy. Just don't do other people's chores. It's very easy. But when you are in the situation and you're like, yeah, but like I do have time, I could possibly do that, and the other person might be offended, and all these kinds of things, and it becomes a little bit complicated. uh, but also it's very easy. It's also very easy. It's very clear and easy. But then what happens is that your friend might have a little bit of a different idea of friendship and how it works, and it's like, I don't know. Like it doesn't work for me. It hasn't worked for me. And I like challenging my beliefs. I like, like I don't think that I know everything, and I think that we all change during the course of our lifetime. We get into different situations, we get different perspective on different things. And what you didn't like in the past might be something that you're pretty comfortable with in the present, and in the future, you might be extremely uncomfortable with it, or it might become your super favorite thing. You don't know. So I try not to be too rigid about things. Well, I am kind of rigid about some things, but I'm still super open generally and super flexible. And it's very interesting when there are two of you and you consider each other friends, and in the process, you realize that you actually have different ideas of friendship. And it does not mean that they are necessarily super conflicting. And it doesn't mean that you cannot be friends anymore, but it also shows that the way your friend perceives friendship can be very different from how you perceive it. And it can work for both of you, but in some situations, it can become tricky and challenging. And I think what defines really good friendship is the willingness of both people to show their perspective, to explain their perspective, and to see how you two will be dealing with similar situations in the future. And this has happened to me and my friend. And yeah, I would say that um, our relationship, it was kind of going through a phase of as if it was like actual romantic relationship, but there was no romance and nothing like this in it. Uh, but we were basically like dealing with the issues that people who are in a romantic relationship usually deal with. It became very, very interesting. And it also was one of the reasons why I started questioning my understanding of friendship. Because, yeah, who's a friend? Somebody you hang out with, you have fun with, you help each other, you support each other. But it's like they're not exactly your partner because your partner is more important. But technically, you change partners statistically more often than you change friends. So friendship might be a more important relationship in your life than your romantic relationship. I mean, disagree with me, of course. I'm just saying that based on my own experience and my own observations. But also, what is a romantic relationship without friendship, right? Like, if you are just attracted to each other romantically and sexually, like, what kind of relationship is it? Because life is not just about these things. And as far as I am informed at this point, usually people who are in romantic relationships, they're like willing to kind of live together and share a household and, well, be there for each other in the most difficult moments, and including these challenging situations when something happens to your family or someone dies, someone dear to you, and it's your partner who's by your side more, and hopefully your friends as well, but it's your partner who's mostly affected by all these kinds of situations that are happening. I'm just checking if my microphone was on this whole time because I'm pretty proud of what I have said so far. Would be a shame to lose it. um so it's kind of tricky because your partner who's not your friend, what kind of partner is it then, right? And your friend who you care about, it's still like, is it more important than your romantic relationship? Is it less important? Can they be compared? And they will be compared, actually. So it becomes very complicated. And in case with this friendship, it actually got to the point where I realized that, well, I did not really set my boundaries. And we like kind of shifted in the kind of a relationship that was basically like we were dealing with the romantic relationship shit without getting the romantic relationship fun with each other. So that really made me reevaluate what kind of relationship is friendship for me. And I would say that probably there is no same friendship. And I guess it might be the same for some people, at least, that like all the friends that you have, with each of them you have a different kind of a relationship, and it's fine and it's nice. And then basically it becomes impossible to define friendship clearly, but you still can kind of define it in a way, because definitely all these people and all the relationships with all these people who are your friends, they are all sharing something together. uh Probably, but not necessarily. So in this relationship, it got to the point that we actually like had to break up as friends and also break up this pattern of basically romantic shit, which was not romantic at all. It was just, like having expectations that like your friend is kind of, like substituting for a partner for you, like expecting things that you would usually expect from somebody who's like your partner, potential like spouse and shit. So yeah, we had to go through a breakup because the way the friendship was functioning it was not working out anymore. And it could be working out for my friend, but it was definitely not working out for me anymore. And it got to the point where I was feeling that, well, it cannot continue the way that it is. And like I had to come to terms that maybe we won't be able to build the relationship I am fully satisfied with. So, like completely letting go. And I could not promise anything. And I was just like, I cannot keep doing it the way that it is. It doesn't work. It's not good. And I mean, we've been for each other in lots of difficult situations and lots of, like, life changing kinds of situations as well. But it could not be going the way that it was going, so we have had to break up and accept that we don't know what's going to happen and if we will be able to build a new relationship on top of that. And actually we did. And we did. We took some time off. uh, we created some distance and it worked out very well. And we have a much better, much clearer relationship now. And whenever some issue arises, we just catch it early, and we discuss it before it grows into something really, really big and piles up, because that's what had led to the breakup that we had. It's just things piled up, similar kinds of things and patterns. They just piled up into such a huge pile that it just became like it turned into an avalanche. Yeah, it was intense. It was really intense for both of us, but it was very necessary. And like once it's over, you let it out. You realize that, yeah, like I'm not happy with the way it is. Let's see if we can make it better, and if not, then well, let's be grateful for the good things that we shared, and let's try to learn from our lessons, from our bad situations, and see if we can apply it maybe in other relationships. If Well, hopefully in all relationships, of course. It's good to learn from your mistakes, because otherwise you will just keep repeating the same shit over and over and over again. So yeah, I would say it's really hard for me to define friendship at this point. But not only friendship, romantic relationship as well. Um, because, um, like, what is love, right? Well, actually, I feel like maybe 1 hour long videos are something that I should maybe not necessarily do so far. So I'm gonna make another video on romantic relationships. So I'm gonna cut it here. Friendships, complicated, but interesting. Are they the most important relationships of your life? Who knows? I think you get to decide for yourself. Um, so I'm really curious to see if you also think that relationships are not just about hanging out, and they can be very important. And what does it mean to be a friend? How do you become a friend with someone? How do you keep this relationship going? How do you keep it alive? What are your boundaries in friendships? What are the things you're willing to do for a friend? What things you're not willing to do for a friend? Mm, like, if you see your friend self-sabotaging, will you support them at that? Or will you be the one who will say, no, I'm not going to support you at that, because I see what's happening, even if you don't, and I want you to work through your bad patterns, and I want you to have a better life. And if it means that you will push me away now for saying that, or pointing it out, or refusing to do something that will feed your pattern, then push me away. I'm in for it. Uh, so I also noticed that I do have this thing in friendships, that um, that I kind of value my friends, um, personal improvement higher than our relationship. Um, I'm going to explain what I mean here, because I'm sure it's not clear from what I just said. So, I am a recovering people pleaser. Nice to meet you. In case it hasn't been obvious, especially for people who know me. And I noticed that people I tend to connect with, people that I become friends with, also tend to be people pleasers. And I have been working on this issue, not of becoming friends with other people pleasers, but of recovering from it, figuring out ways, correcting my behavior, observing my reactions, observing my feelings, trying to fix this, because I know that it is harmful for me, first of all, and that I have been really helping other people at the expense of my own safety, well-being, all these kinds of things. So typical people pleaser. um I would say that there is a certain people pleasing kind of aspect in this, but if my friend is also struggling with people pleasing, and by struggling I mean they do it too much and too often, uh it kind of, I notice it becomes my mission to help them work through it, and to set stricter boundaries and stronger boundaries, and protect themselves, and put their own feelings and their own goals higher than other people's. And I feel like I kind of become my friend, for my friends I become a personal trainer that they didn't ask for. Kind of, but I feel like they're like thankful for that, and I think they have said it verbally that it's good and it's great, and I see overall improvement. But the thing is that when you encourage people to set stronger boundaries, what they will naturally do is set stronger boundaries with you. Even if you are not the one who violates their boundaries, you might become such a safe person that they will feel safe enough to do that with you. And it has also happened with me many times, quite a lot of times, when there would be, I don't know, like a colleague, a boss, a family member, friend, a neighbor, whoever, somebody else who's not me in my friend's life, who would violate their boundaries, and they would complain and they would suffer and they would like, I don't know what to do, they make me so uncomfortable, and I will jump into this coach mode, uh of encouraging them to figure out their own needs, figure out their own feelings, figure out like this whole dynamic with this person or people. And what happens is often that they just project those um other people who violate their boundaries, they just project that onto me. And set extremely like extremely extreme boundaries with me when it's not necessary, and it's not about, like me giving them coaching that they didn't ask for. It's just about, this weird projection that happens. And I know, as a people pleaser and somebody who's really into personal growth and like is really practicing it every single day, um is that it is of course easier to ask for help or to come out to and set boundaries with a person you feel safe around. And it is way scarier and harder to do with a person you don't feel safe about. And uh, I feel like what I tend to do in friendships is also become this very safe person, because I also like I needed always to have a safe person in my life, and I did not have them, and I had to become this safe person for myself as well, as much as I could. And when other people also struggle with this, people that I care about, I want to also, to help them with that. And it also is like, it's also kind of a boundaries question. Like, am I violating their boundaries? I would say not necessarily, but I think in a way it can be also viewed as that. But I would also say that if I help a friend who's suffering from being a people pleaser break out of this pattern and generally set clear boundaries, and feeling safer at doing so, and listening to their own emotions and trusting their own emotions more, um I'm gonna go for it, even at the expense of our relationship, because sometimes some of these friendships, they do not survive this kind of experience, because um I'm also not okay at, having basically, like compensating for other people's shit. Like there is somebody else causing my friend discomfort by violating their boundaries, and then the friend comes and just like, sets this huge strict boundary, and like all the emotions and everything, they just like put it on me. Like our relationship doesn't always survive that. And honestly, I don't know if it makes me a good friend or a shit friend, or like I don't know who that makes me. But honestly, I believe that we all benefit from having people around who are more in touch with themselves, who trust themselves, who respect themselves, and who love themselves. And I would say like that's the way they vibrate, like it's higher vibration, and we all benefit from being around a higher vibration. Let's put it this way. And as a friend, I feel like it's a crime if my friend, let's say, is suffering from people pleasing or low self-esteem or something like that. But the relationship kind of works, right? Like yeah, it's okay, and it might be making me feel better about myself when I see, oh, my self-esteem is actually higher. I feel good that it's not as bad or something, or like, oh, I don't please people that much as my friend does, so yeah, nice, I'm good, and I can maybe use it like for my own benefit, right? No, it doesn't make me feel good. Like if I'm aware that my friend is suffering from like some kind of these things that I have experience of, f- healing myself from, and I know tools, and I know how much you benefit from breaking out of this shit. I feel like it's a crime if I don't point it out, if I don't encourage my friend to look into it, to practice it, even if I become, the kind of the gym, the thing that the boxers box, what is it called? This boxing thingy. I feel like this is what I do a lot, and well, I don't feel like it's always appreciated, but generally, I think that even if we don't stay friends with the person whom I cared about and possibly still care, but out of this friendship that we had, they take this kind of lesson and they go out there and they set stronger boundaries out there in the world, or they respect themselves more, or they have a higher self-esteem. I would take that, and I would take it as a win even if we do not stay friends. I would say that it makes me a good friend because what I believe about relationships is that not all relationships are meant to last, and a long lasting relationship does not mean that it's a good relationship, including friendships. So sometimes we have very short and sometimes intense relationships with other people. And I guess their purpose is to just, show something to us, teach us something. And they're not meant to last. And that's their purpose. And it's fine, and it's good. And I've had that too. I've had people come and walk out of my life, but giving me some really intense lessons or showing me things, and I'm grateful for that. And I wouldn't say that I want these people back into my life, actually, even if I did in the past. Now also I realize that it's gone, it's over, and it's fine. And it doesn't have to be forever. I think it's one of the biggest misconceptions about interpersonal relationships is that we're looking for something that is going to be forever. But also, hopefully, we don't have to maintain it and we don't have to put effort. It's just going to happen. It's going to be great. We will just meet this best friend and they will just be our friend forever, and it's going to be easy and fun. We will fall in love and we will get married and we will be happy ever after. I think that we should trust like those fairy tales a little less, way less, to be honest, actually. um so yeah, I don't know if I'm a good friend, but honestly, I would love to have a friend who is exactly like me. I would love to be my own friend. And I'm really glad that we actually can do this. We can become our own friends while being like the same person, one person in one body. And I don't think we have to have a split personality for it. Not necessarily. I guess split personality is actually like based on my limited knowledge about how that thing works. I'm not sure they really communicate that much with each other. So yeah, friendships are complicated, and I think that well, we definitely learn a lot from our romantic relationships, but we also learn a lot about ourselves and about other people and about relationships from friendships as well. And also, like, usually we have more than one friend, but then we believe that we only want and we are only allowed to have one romantic partner, which is also kind of interesting because some friendships can be much deeper and much more intense than romantic relationships. And this is something that I'm going to explore in another video because I decided that maybe let's cut it short. But friendships, they are so fucking complicated and so interesting. And I would say maybe a little underrated as well. Because I don't get like I had these situations a lot. Well, I used to be friends with guys a lot, and I started to believe that maybe they were not exactly willing to be just friends because like it was a thing that whenever my guy friend would get a girlfriend, they would just not be allowed to communicate with me anymore. Like never. And then they would break up and then they would get in touch with me again and we would hang out and like be friends and do things and then they would get a new girlfriend and then this girlfriend would not allow them to communicate with me again. And like it's not your girlfriend who's watching you changing friends over and over again. It's your friend usually who's the one who's watching you changing partners. So maybe yeah, friendships are actually a more lasting relationship in our life, but of course it depends. It's different for everybody. um but I feel like we generally as humans tend to get over invested in our romantic relationships and just push our friends aside, um while maybe our friendships are more important than we think they are. And maybe our romantic relationships are a little less important than we think they are. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just sharing my opinions here, which, as you might recall, are unpopular for a reason. I call this whole thing unpopular opinions for a reason. And even if there's no human in this world who agrees with whatever I just said, it's fine. It's okay because we are all entitled to our opinions. But if our opinions can help somebody and give somebody a new perspective, or maybe somebody actually shares our opinion, it's great. It's nice. And it's awesome. Well, you should become friends with your opinions, but also know that your opinions can also change just like normal human beings who are your friends. And sometimes those changes mean the end of the relationship, and it is okay. Well, follow me or wherever you are watching or listening to it. There are way more opinions on many different topics that I have, and I'm just gonna record a romantic relationship episode right now, which I could actually make a part of it, but again, maybe 1 hour long videos are something I'm gonna keep for later. Let's see.